So, March 2023, a pseudonymous tax nerd fires off a tweet in 10 seconds. 12 hours later, a former Coinbase chief technology officer replies with 3 words that will cost him $1.5 million. 6 years earlier, an Argentinian Bloomberg reporter files a story her editors do not believe is real. Half of them have not heard the word Bitcoin. December 2021. A marketer sends a cold Twitter DM to a serial entrepreneur he has never met. 12 months later, their newsletter sells for 8 figures. Welcome to SEA Daily Buzz. Today, 3 of the biggest bets in crypto history, and the strange, specific moments the timers actually ran out. Start with the tweet nobody meant. March 16, 2023. James Medlock, a pseudonymous crypto skeptic best known for selling a t-shirt that says, "Print more," is scrolling Twitter as Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, burns down in real time. He types 12 words. "I'll bet anyone $1 million that the US does not enter hyperinflation." He hits send. He later calls it a tweet that popped into his head and he sent in 10 seconds without thinking. 12 hours later, a reply lands from a verified account with 900,000 followers. Balaji Srinivasan, former CTO of Coinbase, former general partner at Andreessen Horowitz, a 16Z, author of The Network State. His reply is 3 sentences, quote, "I will take that bet. You buy 1 Bitcoin. I will send $1 million US." Then a line for the math nerds. This is roughly 40 to 1 odds. Bitcoin is at 26,000. The deadline is 90 days. The internet loses its mind. Because Balaji does not stop there. 2 days later, he goes on the Bankless podcast. He calls what he is doing the bit signal. He argues that hundreds of American banks are already technically insolvent, sitting on $620 billion in unrealized losses. He compares the dollar's future to Weimar Germany in 1923, when the mark collapsed to 1/1,000,000th of a dollar. Then he doubles down, literally. On March 25th, he wires 2 million USDC into an on-chain address, publicly, and announces a second identical bet with an anonymous counterparty. He calls the whole thing a Simon Ehrlich-style public interest wager. "Zero profit motive," he tweets. Anyone can watch the money sitting there, block by block. The crypto world splits in half. Half of Twitter thinks he is the smartest person in the room. The other half thinks he just handed a stranger $1 million for free. Bitcoin does move. From 26,000 up to about 28, then 30. Nowhere close to $1 million. 45 days before the deadline, Balaji does something no one predicts. He surrenders early. On May 2nd, he pays out $1.5 million on-chain in public. 500,000 to Chaincode Labs, which funds Bitcoin Core developers. 500,000 to Give Directly, which sends cash directly to families in extreme poverty. 500,000 to Medlock himself. Medlock tweets back the receipt and adds, quote, "He proceeded in good faith." Balaji posts 3 words. The point has been made. 90 days after the original bet, Bitcoin was down about 3% from where it started. But watch what happens next. First Republic Bank collapses 2 weeks after Balaji's tweet. The Fed reopens emergency lending. Bitcoin, the thing he told everyone to buy at 26,000, hits 73,000 within a year, crosses $100,000 in December 2024. By the letter of the bet, Balaji lost. By the letter of the market, everyone who bought Bitcoin at 26,000 quadrupled inside 20 months. Sometimes in crypto, the person who pays out the bet is not actually the one who lost the argument. Buenos Aires, 2013. Argentina is under Cristina Fernandez. Inflation is 25% a year. Currency controls are so tight, ordinary shopkeepers cannot legally buy dollars. In the middle of that chaos, a Bloomberg reporter named Camila Russo notices something small. Regular people, shopkeepers, nurses, are quietly moving their savings into a strange thing called Bitcoin. She pitches the story. Her editors are not sold. Half of them have literally never heard the word. She has to spend weeks convincing them. The story runs in 2013. It performs well. Her editors grudgingly admit she was right. That is the crack. Camila has already been at Bloomberg 8 years. Emerging markets intern in New York, then Argentina bureau, Madrid, then back to New York on the markets desk. She keeps covering traditional finance by day. Quietly on the side, she keeps reading crypto. Then Ethereum shows up. She thinks Bitcoin is money. Ethereum, she thinks, is an infinite machine. In 2017, she pitches a book about Ethereum to HarperCollins. They sign it. She keeps her Bloomberg job while she researches. She flies to Toronto, Berlin, Prague, Zug, Osaka, San Francisco. She interviews more than 100 people: Vitalik Buterin, Joe Lubin, Gavin Wood. In January 2019, she resigns. 8 years gone, no safety net, book manuscript and a laptop. Her plan is small: finish the book, freelance. Then, halfway through editing, she notices something. Every few weeks, she is at another Ethereum hackathon, and nobody, not Bloomberg, not the Wall Street Journal, not CoinDesk, is really covering what she is watching. So, in June 2019, she starts a Substack. She calls it The Defiant, a play on DeFi and defiant because Bloomberg had told her 5 years earlier this was not a real story. She works 2 shifts a day, book edits from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., dinner, then the next day's newsletter from 6 until midnight. For months, 10 people subscribe. One of them, she says, is her mother. Then, July 2020, her book, The Infinite Machine, publishes. Same week, DeFi summer explodes. Uniswap, Aave, Compound, Yearn. $20 billion a week floods into a corner of finance nobody in mainstream media is watching, except one newsletter out of a New York apartment. 18 months later, the Defiant raises $1.4 million pre-seed. The New York Times calls it an industry must-read. Andreessen Horowitz puts it in their official crypto canon. Subscribers cross 400,000 across newsletter, YouTube, and podcast. 2024 hits. Crypto ad revenue collapses. The Defiant lays off 8 of its 20 people. Camila stays, restructures around news and podcasts. Still CEO. Bloomberg, in the meantime, has now built an entire crypto vertical. Full team, dedicated coverage. 5 years after they told her no. Late December 2021. A marketer named Ben Levy is at home in the US. He has a hunch. He fires a cold Twitter DM to a serial entrepreneur he has never met. Shaan Puri. Shaan's background: former CEO of a social network called Bebo, sold his second company, Blab, to Amazon Twitch, co-host of the podcast My First Million, 300,000 plus followers on Twitter. Ben pitches him a crypto newsletter, not the academic kind, a 5-minute daily email written like your smartest friend texting you, for readers who look at CoinDesk and think, please just tell me what happened today, in one page, with a joke. Shaan says yes. In parallel, Ben also cold messages Tyler Denk, CEO of a brand new newsletter platform called beehiiv, asks if they can build on top of it. Tyler says yes. They buy the domain milkroad.com for $2,000. They design the logo in Canva. Cartoon milk bottle. The V0 is literally a Google Doc emailed to friends for feedback. Milk Road launches in February 2022. Now the spectacle. Shaan does not want a newsletter, he wants a party. Spring 2022, he takes $1 million of his own money and puts it in a fully public crypto wallet. Every trade in real time in front of the audience. Almost all of it into Ethereum. He says on the record, "I'm going to try to turn 1 million into 10 million. Watch me." Then crypto crashes. By mid-2022, that $1 million wallet is down roughly 70%, down to around 300,000. Shaan admits it publicly on the podcast, talks about watching his own subscribers watch him lose $250,000 in 72 hours. Something strange happens. The subscribers do not leave. They multiply. Because they get to watch him fail, in public, with real money, and still write the newsletter every morning at the same time. Month 1, 16,000 subscribers. 6 months in, 100,000. Open rate, 45%. Industry average is 34. Month 10, 250,000 subscribers. $1 million in annualized ad revenue. Then one afternoon on Slack, Shaan sends Ben a message. Quote, "How much would you sell this for right now?" Ben answers, "I don't know. Do you want to sell it?" Shaan says, "That is not what I said. Just give me a number." They land on a number. That same week, Ben happens to be talking to a media company called Bitfo, run by Kendall Seville and Michael Whitmire, about a marketing partnership. He steers the conversation. The negotiation is what Seville later publicly called a roller coaster. The deal almost dies twice. Crypto is crashing in the middle of the talks. Terms get renegotiated, then renegotiated again. December 2022, the deal closes. Public price? Undisclosed. Investors confirm the range as 8 figures. Structure includes Bitfo equity. Shaan reinvests part of the proceeds back into the company, joins the Bitfo board. Ben stays on to run Milk Road day to day. 10 months, $2,000 in domain cost, a Canva logo, a public wallet down 70%, 8-figure exit. 2 years later, another operator, Kyle Reedhead of the Web3 Academy, acquires Milk Road from Bitfo. Subscribers cross 330,000. Today, beehiiv itself cites Milk Road as its flagship case study. A former CTO who lost by 3% and still turned out to be exactly right. A reporter who outcovered the newsroom that told her the story was not real. 2 strangers on the internet who turned a Canva logo into an 8-figure exit. 3 bets, 3 different stakes, money, career, time. But the pattern is the same. None of them were betting on a coin going up. They were betting the rest of the world was underestimating something specific. Balaji bet the banking system was more fragile than the people running it admitted. Camila bet Bloomberg was underestimating how badly regular people wanted this story, especially in places with weak currencies. Shaan and Ben bet the crypto audience wanted news that treated them like adults, not students in a lecture. That is what a bet in this industry actually is, not gambling. A very specific claim about what everyone else is missing, and enough money on the table that people are forced to listen. For Southeast Asia, this matters. Manila, Ho Chi Minh City, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, the next Balaji, the next Camila, the next Milk Road is almost certainly typing right now. In a language the big newsrooms cannot even read. Whoever bets on that first wins the next decade. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Every like, every subscribe, every notification you turn on genuinely helps us keep making these episodes. Multiple subtitle languages are on for our friends across Asia, and we drop new episodes every week. See you next time.